Beep, beep, beep. Beep, boop, boop. We are
This is a
live.
fucking liar, dude. I don't see it. You didn't get it? No.
What
Maine,
up?
where'd you put it?
What up, Maine? We don't see your. Did you submit the form? We don't see it yet.
Yeah,
But
man. Guess I'll go cry. Yeah, you should think about what you did because we don't see it.
yeah, we don't see
Did
it.
you use that link? Hopefully it's not broken.
It would if you saw the form, and it's the forms of the form.
All right. Well, okay. We'd appreciate that. Welcome to Fast Track Feedback Fridays. Jacob Bear Johnson. Josh.
Hey, Jacob Bear Johnson. What was
Jacob
that?
Bear.
Jacob
Our
Earl Johnson. What's up? Welcome back to the stream. We've got yours here. We could even just do his.
No, yeah, if he's here, well, let's do it right now.
All right, we'll do yours first.
Because might not be here. I actually
Yeah.
went to your Insta and used the link in the link tree. Man,
Is that like a different?
does it not work?
I have no idea.
All right, maybe we'll check that out. But we have
You
it now.
you
We
might
have it
have
now.
identified a bug for us, so thank you for that.
Oh man,
Maybe.
all those mixed submissions, right?
God. Yeah, 100 submissions.
Yeah, we'll check that out. Hey
All right,
man, you know what? We've hit. What is this? What row number is this?
we're at
This is
222,
222, man. We've had a lot, so
and we
don't
just
pat
yeah we
ourselves on the
just
back.
got that last one, so yeah we got yours.
Dope. But yeah, yeah, we'll hit Jacob's first. Then we got Espa. If he's gonna be in chat, we let him know because he's submitted us a while ago, but he said don't do it until I'm here. So we didn't do it because he wasn't there. So yeah, we'll have him there if he comes in. But main, uh, once those two are done, you're ready. Or if Espa's not there, we'll do you.
Yeah, or
So
we could save Espas for last, or if he gets back to us. So we might
exactly.
as well since people are here. Um, so
Let's
yeah,
do it.
that's
Oh
the
shit.
that's the move. Again for those for the uninitiated, welcome to Fast Track Feedback Fridays, the show with hot tracks and even hotter takes.
Wow.
I'm Sean Evans, your
Yeah.
host.
I was like, do I get chicken wings?
Oh, all right.
Hey,
Dope. So should we get into it?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's get into this shit.
All right. So let's see. Do we have a description for this? This is Jacob, aka Jenkins Ave. Love the rebrand.
Yeet.
Song title: Who Gonna Be There When I Need a Lung? I
Oh
like
shit.
that. And oh god. All
Hold on,
right.
hold on.
Project description. He's having some fun here. He said, "Relax, Josh. I love you. Thank you for that."
That's it.
No. I distorted that second hook. I distorted that second hook for you, baby girl. I have to read it in the assumed voice here.
I
Some
see.
emojis. I don't know what that that face that's like.
Is
I
there
don't
an
know what that's
eggplant?
called. No, not that one. It's like the
Oh,
pout, like the you know what I mean. The
I don't even see it. I don't have it.
oh, you don't see it in
It's just
the
for you. Yeah, it's just like blocks for me. So
oh yeah,
L.
it's in
But
the XL. Anyways, it's a performance I just did live on that video. No mixing or anything, just some art project. Sorry for the clipping, baby girls. Again with the emoji, the sad eyes one that's looking like down. You know what I mean?
yeah. Bro, dude, there's some amazing stuff you could do with the soft clip. So
He said,
I
"No,
love.
don't read." Sorry,
Don't read.
yeah,
Too late, bro.
too late. Your feelings are public.
You put it there. You know what this was, Jacob. We do this every time.
You've been here like 1,000 times, dude.
Yeah, bro. Wait, what
All
do you
right,
put here? No bitch. All right, whatever. All right, let's listen to this fucker's music. I
let's
like
go.
it. Nice headphones. Shout out. All right, you ready?
Yep.
Jenkins Ave. 3, 2, 1.
who gon' be here when I need a lung? Hey, who gon' be here when I'm down?
Oh, I
Shooting
remember
needles
this.
up. Who gon' be here when I need it rough? Hey, who gon' be here when I need a hug?
Let us know where you got the backing,
Who gon' be here when I need a lung? Hey, who gon' be here when
or
I'm
if you made
down?
it.
Shooting needles up. Who gon' be here when I need it rough? Hey, who gon' be here when I'm down? Hey, Nolan hit my telly at like 12 in the morning. Spitting fast by my potential, he wants to see me soaring. Told me don't do it for fans, I ain't buying you fonts. Don't let your head down, homie, when it's raining.
Such a great.
Stereo. There's some stereo on that snare. It's
You got
nice.
so many problems on your hands to write down. And right now you drove 50 hours to lie down. Please stop it. Time to finish beats that you have in your pocket. So I am about to drop the hottest tape. I'm ripping off that beer. Fuck a bottle, tell the tenor, pull me Scott. Some of the hen. It's time to manifest the bins. In a house with a fence. Pull my pants in some tents. Sincerely J, aka the kid. It's been a long time wait since I spit some shit. Dropping bombs, foreign beats, buying products that ain't last like this. I'm gone. Who gon' be here when I need a love? Hey, who gon' be here
Ah,
when I'm down? Shoot the needles
energy.
up. Who gon' be here when I need it rough? Hey, who gon' be here when I need it love? Who gon' be here when I need a lung? Hey, who gon' be here when I'm down? Shoot the needles up. Who gon' be here when I need it rough? Hey, who gon' be here when I need a hug? I'm gone.
I
Ooh,
love this energy,
Most
bro.
ugliest
It's
rapper alive.
amen to that.
it's great,
Hey, he said it,
dude.
not me, bro.
Hell yeah, that was good.
That was fire. I remember hearing that. I feel like, wait, was that live? Because didn't that performance sounded like the same, especially the last part where you said ugliest rapper alive. But whatever it was, I fucking loved it. Gritty sound. I love your voice. I love the energy. Um, this reminds me. I know we were talking in the DMs about you looking for a specific provider, and I mentioned a couple people. I mentioned one guy, and he was kind of booked. He still is, but he recommended me a guy through Instagram or whatever. But I actually met him in like person, and he's in town and he's taking jobs. So if you're still interested, I don't know how we left that. Maybe I'll talk to you afterwards. But yeah, sounds like you're gonna drop the hottest album, as you say in the song. So if you're still looking to try to get that mixed and mastered or whatever, let's talk. But anyways, what do you got for first impressions, Josh?
Yeah, well, so I was just thinking about how to like score this. It's a really like it's a really electric performance.
Yeah.
uh, and that's where it shines. Like I mean, as you said, this isn't like like a release, right?
Mhm.
Um, I was thinking like that's kind of what we specialize in. I feel like is like putting all the pieces together.
Yep.
I don't know how much I can say overall, like for the other part. I guess like vibes and content are areas that we can address. So for vibes, yeah, I don't know. It's a great
Oh my
performance. Like you're good at what you fucking do, clearly.
dude,
And yeah, the great energy. I don't really have much else than that.
it's fucking real. I'm struggling with Twitch right now. Okay, I'm trying to find the chat. I was like, see what they said. Oh man, I just fucked up again. All right. Anyways, yeah. Okay. So we've heard this before. Uh, I first impressions right away. Like I said, it's a gritty sound. It goes well with the gritty instrumental, or not. And maybe not. It's got a gritty sound to it in the instrumental, but it's just kind of got that old school boom bap vibe to it. I think you rock it pretty well. I love the energy. Uh, Almost manic. Ugliest rapper alive. Dude, it's cool. So, what are you waiting for with this project, man? We want to hear it.
Yeah,
And like Josh said too, yeah, like, and you told us, you're like, it's not mix and master. It's like, bro, like that's what we do. But we could give you like a video rating too. I mean, I think people love this stripped back, kind of just one take type shit. Um, I think in when I used to make videos like it, I think it connects with a lot of people.
you know,
Maybe put lyrics too. You can put that
you know
too.
what that's got me thinking,
What?
Jacob. Have you looked into TikTok at all?
I was gonna say TikTok too. But like it's yeah.
I mean, I
There's
feel
feelings
like
on TikTok.
people have mixed feelings, but I mean, it is a large part of music app.
It is.
Um, and it's depending on what your style is, that's really what it's dependent on. It can be a better platform for certain people than YouTube,
Yeah.
right? It's like if you're, I think this, like what I'm saying, this kind of content where it's
God.
like
Yeah.
less formally produced, like if you do it consistently and you have this like energy, um, that's a good place to potentially have an outlet for this, right? But I feel like if you're just trying to have something like this stripped back on YouTube, it might not do as well.
Mhm.
So that's just sort of a thought, food for
Bro.
thought. But
Yeah.
the
Like fuck
artistry
it, man.
comes through, man.
Yeah. Fuck it. Like I'm looking at this right. Does it really need to be in landscape?
Yeah,
Like
that's
if
what I
it's
was thinking.
not, like so YouTube has shorts too. Like what is this? What's
That's
the
true. I wonder
what's
what the
the
stats are on how many people actually watch those.
Yeah, my only point that I'm trying to make is like, bro, like you got the video, just put it somewhere else, see what happens. Um, you don't have to even make it that deep because, yeah, just see what happens, see if it sticks. Just play the hashtag game right, and the talent's there. Like you just need to get people that like your music just to see it. So TikTok's one of those things people just see content all the time, and perhaps you're bound to get it up there. So it's kind of interesting, but yeah, I don't know what else we could say here. We love it. We want the tape. Free lunch. Hashtag.
Yeah, man.
Uh, I love this shit. Yeah, and let me know. I don't know if you. I'm still having trouble with the fucking chat, but let me know about the progress of the tape and how you're engineering it and stuff. If you're still looking for somebody, um, I could get you those details. But yeah, they even have that people in particular. I think it's called Half House Studios. They actually do a weekly live stream where they make music. So I've been meaning to check that out anyways. Um, that also might be the wrong name. So just I'll get back to you,
You
Jake.
mean Halfway House Studios? Like,
Halfway House, perhaps.
is that really?
I think that's what it is.
Oh my god.
I don't
Dang.
know.
What are they doing there?
I don't know, but apparently they're making music and like they went to our hip hop collective show. Bro, Castle Finn was there too.
Oh,
Shout out
cool.
Castle Finn. He was like, "Yo, like, do you remember me?" I was like, "Ha, fast track,
Yeah, he
crazy."
he he bought what was it, like speakers for me or something when I was moving out.
Oh, that was him.
Yeah,
Okay, that's crazy.
he's
But
cool.
we reviewed some of his music back in the day. It was just cool to see him. But anyways, yeah. But yeah, this is cool. I don't know how we can really rate it. Like, it's like, if I were to go real quick, vibes, I really love it. Green. Content, I really love it. Green. Production, obviously a yellow. So it's like, well, not like, not a, I know we do percentages, and I was thinking about that. Like, fuck the percentages. Let's just,
Yeah, because it's
like,
more.
the reason why we did traffic lights was to stop doing percentages. And it's
Well,
hard to get granular.
that's true, sort of. I
Yeah,
mean, we thought about like just saying color, like it can be in between colors, but I don't know. I mean, the main reason why we have the system is for release it like actual releases where you're going to put it out on like streaming services,
that's
right?
true.
Like when you're trying to have something in your musical portfolio that's like a, like
Literally.
one of the
Real.
main things, rather than just like a piece of content. It's a little bit of a different way that you'd think about those, and this system is geared towards releases that you want to get to the widest number of people possible.
Yep.
So yeah, I would say the same. It's like vibes are great, content's great, production isn't really applicable here, so it's sort
Yep.
of like an NA. But obviously, we'd love to hear a produced version of this that is better for being released as well. I think why
Jacob.
not?
Yeah. Jacob, whenever you get this tape done, um, just hit me up on terms of what you have planned for promotion. There's stuff that I've learned about pitching to Spotify playlists, pitching to playlists in general, how the algorithm works, to try to just get you into like algorithmic playlists. Even though if you don't get into editorial, like algorithmic playlists is super interesting. Dropping singles, how far in advance you have to do it. Just let me know. Like once you're at that point, I'm really interested because I do think some of the stuff you're setting us is really really cool. So, but yeah, just let us know. You broke the ratings. Yeah, it's not like a good thing. It's neutral. It's neutral. It's not bad.
It's not a good thing.
Just yeah, 2 week Spotify thing. Oh fuck yeah, yes. Or other things like you can only do one at a time. So if you're gonna do a rollout and you want to do more than one single, you have to space them apart in that manner. And
Yeah,
I've heard early as 4 weeks. And when I tried 4 weeks in advance, it might just be like a one-off song thing. But my song, it's called Shenron. It got like I didn't promote it, but I pitched it into Spotify for like 4 weeks early. I didn't get on any editorial playlist, but it got like 4K views or 4K streams on Spotify in like a week or two. So that's like a pretty decent start. So just let me know. But yeah,
nice.
cool. I think this is dope. But it's not done yet. The video, I think, for video purposes, is cool. Um, put it on TikTok, put it on Instagram. However you want to do content, just try it, see what happens, see if people like it. um, I see people put lyrics there too, so maybe it's more digestible, like they know exactly what you say the first time around. But yeah, I think it's cool. What do you have, Josh? That's all I have to say.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have much else. It's a cool vibe. It shows off your artistry well. it's obviously it doesn't necessarily fit our rating scheme as a release as well, but we'd love to hear it as such. And yeah, I don't really even want to try to give it a track total because track total is kind of like
I
again,
didn't either. Like I like it, but it's not finished yet. Let's finish it.
yeah. So yeah, send us some shit that you got when it's produced, and we'll divvy it up.
Yeah, but like for a video like this, it sounds great. Like,
Yeah.
but cool.
All
Thank you,
right.
Jake Johnson. I need to figure out the fucking chat here. My bad.
Have you tried Restream?
Oh, is that? Oh, okay. I was looking at chat.
Either one.
Anyways,
But
okay.
next up we got Maine.
Oh, this is Maine. Let's go. Oh no. Sorry.
That
I
was
closed like
intense.
I dude, I don't know what's happened with my hiccups lately.
Crazy.
People started to notice.
You might have a disease.
Maybe.
Hopefully
I
not.
don't know. I should just stop using my vocal cords when I hiccup. But
Interesting. Yeah. Maybe that's it.
like I don't need to do that, right?
Overactive diaphragm.
Yeah. Oh
Um,
man, that sounds awful. All right, fuck it. Let's go to run by Maine.
yep.
Is this lyrics? If you like what I like, don't run. If you want that, what I want, don't run. I'm gonna keep what I keep. I let it run. I
He's
didn't.
got a description for us here. Are you reading on SoundCloud?
Yeah, yeah. What you got?
He's got a description. I'm a huge fan of people like The Weeknd, Brent Fayez, and generally a lot of the darker or alternative
R&B.
R&B scene.
Yep,
Nice. Let's go.
dude.
I'm
Check out
excited.
I Am Lost too, bro. He's a local artist here. Where you
Oh
from,
yeah.
man? Are you
He's
from
good.
Champaign?
Probably not.
Shouts out to Leslie. But anyways,
The chances are slim.
yeah,
Maybe.
he's like our resident R&B, just god. Plus, he's a really good dancer. But
Yeah.
anyways,
He's from
I just want to.
Ontario. Oh, Canada. Can you
Oh, sheesh.
bring us some maple syrup, please?
Yeah, bro, something.
Sorry, is that
Um,
racist?
yep, very. All right, let's save Josh's ass before he gets canceled. Maine,
Nationalist.
run. You ready, Josh?
Yep, let's do it.
This is a cool album art, by the way. 3, 2, 1.
Ooh, I like it already.
Did you come to
Oh,
party? Wanna be somebody?
oh,
Let me feel your body.
oh.
Let me run it back to morning. Keep you close to
Smooth.
something.
Yeah.
I'ma give me something. Run it like I own it. Tell me why you run it. If you like what I like, don't
Look at these
run.
layers.
If you want what I want, don't run.
Great melodies and phrasing.
I'ma keep what I keep, let it run. If you talk what I talk, let it run. Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
Don't mind my manners, I'm just waiting. I'm feeling good, being patient.
yeah.
007 shit, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, fuck you talking about.
Fuck you talking
Just to
about?
let you know, run the streets without no guidance. I'ma keep you close, cause I know you always like it. Picture in this moment, frame it how you want it. Just enjoy the silence. Did you
Yeah.
come to
Nice.
party?
Great Bruno
Wanna be
Mars almost.
somebody? Let me feel your
Her
body.
weekend.
Let me run it back till morning. Keep you close to something. I'ma give me something. Run it like I own it. Tell me why you run it. If you like what I like, don't run.
Man.
If you want what
Catchy.
I want, don't run. I'ma keep what I keep, let it run. If you talk what I talk, let it run.
Woo! That was pretty smooth, man. That was pretty fucking smooth. That was a nice surprise, man. Good job.
Nice.
What do you have? What do you got, Josh?
Oh man. I mean, to start with vibes, the vibes are there.
Are
This
you
is
feeling just a second? Is there
mhm.
potential for purple here? What do you have? What are you thinking?
There's definitely some I don't think it's like 100% there yet.
Oh, okay,
I
okay.
I like the vibes a lot, but that's not everything, right?
Sure, sure, sure,
So
sure. I just wanted to like know, like
no,
for
I mean
me, if I had a meter, it was like it like like a sound meter. It goes like up and down, whatever or whatever.
Mhm.
there was times where I was like, "Oh man, this could be a purple."
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely like there's points where he's like, "What's purple?" Um, there there are points when I am like, "This is a really strong idea and song," like really strong, where you're like,
Mhm.
"Oh shit, like this could be big." Again, it's always dependent on nailing everything, pretty
Yes.
much. In
Yes.
today, it's just how the music world works today with so many people making music.
Mhm.
It's the only way. But yeah, just to answer your question, what is purple? We have this rating system that you can see down there.
Mhm.
That we go through these categories: vibes, which is like your artistry and just how it makes us feel; content, which is like your arrangement, songwriting, like how the instruments are put together, all that stuff; and then production, which obviously is like mixing and mastering, and then a track total. And if we really love everything and it's like a really good example of like a ready to go, like radio ready song, then
Mhm.
we give it purple, which is a top tier track. That makes it on a special playlist and gets you some bragging rights. So
Special. Mhm.
but yeah, I mean, just like again, to go back to vibes, love the song and the energy behind it, and then like this is more content, but like the just the writing and the way that it's put together and the melodies and the phrasing, those melodies are so tasty, man. Like those the just the it's like when you
Yeah, it's good.
it's like not the most obvious like melody that you might choose on top of the chords. Like the scale degrees are like interesting, but then you make it a simplistic like sort of shape of the melody, and the way that it repeats and the phrasing makes it feel simple. I love those kind of melodies where they're unexpected but simple.
Mm,
Um,
mm.
so yeah, I mean, vibes. It's just it's a green for me. What do you think?
Yeah. I was thinking maybe what we might want to do is because we're me and Josh are talking about doing a next season of this stream. There'll be changes. We'll talk on that later. But one thing I was thinking about is, in the track total, we have this a way of kind of delineating something that's good to go that can push out. But and there's another thing where it's purple, where it's like this is like another level. This is like got an it factor that we really like,
Hmm.
you know. And I kind of feeling like I'd like that on these other things too, like
Um,
a purple vibe. I don't know. We could talk about it because
yeah,
I do really like the vibes here, and
true.
I think it goes at something above something that's just kind of pushable. That's um, good to go in terms of a vibes department. Like there's like an it factor here where I think it's really special.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
like that's why I say that. But yeah, I see exactly where your influence is in terms of you said Brent Fayez and The Weekend for sure. So very smooth voice, very uh, fantastic use of melody, very catchy. The harmonies were fantastic. I loved the layering. Um, First impression wise, I don't know exactly what the song's about though, but that's like maybe one critique that I see right away. But we could get into that into the terms of the other categories. In terms of vibes, I think this is like green, so for sure solid green. Um, Fantastic. What do you have for content?
Yeah, content. I mean, I think I said the main my main takeaway, like the writing feels really solid.
Hmm.
Maybe the one thing like I wasn't so sure about the outro for some reason. Like it, I mean, it's not like it's complicated. Maybe it's just that this is a little bit of a long tail that doesn't feel like it's adding a whole lot. It could be
Hmm.
that I always feel a little weird about. And it's like, why are you like you're adding that much time? And it might also be that the choruses feel so good, and I think there's a verse in between them. Um, Maybe it's okay that it's a shorter song, but like without those tails, it's definitely well under 2 minutes. So there's not like a lot to the song. I think I'd be curious to sort of investigate like the influences that you mentioned. Do they have many tracks that are that short, right? Especially when you factor in how much like just tail has been added on the front and back of this,
Hmm.
or do they normally have like an extra like a longer like chorus section at the end or something, or like an instrumental section or a bridge or something that sort of makes the song feel more complete, especially when you go back and listen, and it's not just like choruses with a couple of things complementing them, but rather it tells more of a contrasting story between the choruses and the verses or anything else.
Mhm.
Um, and like other than that, I mean, you've got the magic, which is again like is the
The
chorus
ear, yeah, the
in the
ear.
ear. um yeah, so I don't know, I like the way that it's put together a lot. I just it always seems like a little bit less effort goes into thinking of how to start the song and how to end it, especially how to end it. It's just like when you're editing a song or working on it, you rarely you go through the end of the song less than you do the beginning. So it's very common for a little bit less care to go into that part.
Mhm.
um,
Oh yeah, this is a work in progress,
Oh,
so
okay, cool. So he
let us
says it's probably gonna be more than 2 minutes. So yeah, I mean, dude, you're on a really good track with this. Like you know what you're doing. You know where you're. I'm sure you have ideas where you're trying to go with this and make it, the final result. Um, Hopefully that kind of echoes maybe some things that you've been thinking. But I think it's on a really good track. So content for that reason, I think I would give it a like a 85 or 90 between yellow and green. Um, Chris,
content.
yeah, Chris, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm gonna try to not be redundant, but I agree with Josh for all the positive stuff. The thing that I dropped a little bit was in terms of lyrical content. Um,
Lyrical acuity.
I don't know if it's acuity. So
Maybe not.
I'm more and more. This is mostly like I love hip hop music and rap music, and I love it when an artist gets the message across from you like the first time. Like it's vivid, it's understandable. You know what this song's about. Um, and you mentioned in the chat that you're like, oh, I should put the lyrics in the full lyrics in the description or whatever next time. Yes, that's good, but it's like that won't help if someone's on Spotify or listening and your lyrics aren't in there yet or whatever, right? So I don't know in terms of like for example, I heard you said this is 007 shit, and I was waiting for the bar, but I don't know what the bar was, and then you said something like, I don't know this shit, I don't know this shit. And I was like, wait, what? What is the 007 part? You know, like
Yeah.
that could be a potentially a very cool bar, but yeah, so I would say look at that. Also, I wanted to ask you, since this is a work in progress, is there anything in particular that you're like, I really wish they could weigh in on this? Just let us know. Um, that's kind of why we put the box in there, and also it's really helpful that you're in chat. You could tell us the stuff like the back and forth that you're doing now. Um, we'll also, give you the production stuff too. Like I think Josh will probably have a couple things to say in production. Um, but yeah, and content for me, that was the biggest kind of critique was just like getting a strong, cohesive, easy to understand message, such that when I listen to it first time, I know exactly what's happening. Um, I see that there's like a theme and a return to this run, something something don't run. So that's there in the chorus, but I just didn't really hit home for me everywhere else. Like I don't know, do you want this person to stay? Um, but not necessarily every lyric in the chorus kind of means that. Is it because you want them to stay because you'll take care of them, or like you'll get to your dream eventually? Like, what is
Yeah.
it? Like, I don't know. Like, maybe it's up to interpretation, but it's just kind of confusing. But
Yeah, and I'm just trying to think through like different maybe tips or like ways to ensure that your song's
Dr. Chill. Sorry.
meaning comes through. You're good. Like with like what Chris was saying, maybe there is a core idea that's understandable. Maybe it's like it's a line that repeats a lot and people have like a general idea of maybe what it is.
Hmm.
Then again, it's a matter of like really fleshing out the story there. Like, what is there some event that you can highlight that explains the sentiment? Is there just like more to the sentiment that you can like sort of elaborate on? I also think there are just like lyrical devices that you can use, and tricks within, again, your arrangement of like having a kind of shocking line or something that stands out to the listener to kind of pique their interest in like, wait, like what did I just hear? Because then that gets them really listening to the lyrics. And then having something like usually that follows it up either directly or like, after, that answers the question sort of. Or maybe it doesn't completely. Maybe it leaves a little bit of ambiguity and like sort of that wonder. But again, I think it's about like thinking really intently about how you're presenting the story, of the message that you're trying to convey and what devices you use throughout the song and where they're placed to do that. Like I think generally a somewhat shocking line is better earlier in the song because then the person's like they're like, oh shit, now I have to listen to the lyrics.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just a couple of ideas, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Should we do?
Jokerhead.
Did you give a rating for content, or should we go to production?
Let's have Jokerhead. My rating for content, I think it's pretty high up there. I like a lot of the stuff, and for me, it's probably like 90% between green and yellow.
Mm-hmm.
Here I am doing the percentages again. So he was saying the overarching story isn't really that deep. It's just trying to catch her vibe. I totally understand that.
But
I
it's
think.
even like even if the real story isn't that deep, I think it's like it doesn't have as much value to a listener if they
Mhm,
can't like understand that vibe. Like you might inherently understand the vibe, right? But you need to help other people by giving them an experience to listen through,
mhm,
right? Like it can't just be like I don't want you to run. There has to be some context around it of like just give at least one not like anecdote, but like paint like a some picture of a scene, right? There has to be some like subject and setting to this thing, or
mhm.
else it's just too abstract and it doesn't really impart as much
Yep.
emotion that you want it to onto the listener.
Yep, yep, yep. I was just gonna say, like, with music becoming more and more available to everybody, more and more people are making stuff, and a lot of people, at least in the past, they're like, "How can I make this, more general, more marketable to the whole entire audience?" But I think now it's like opposite. Like,
No, yeah.
I feel like people love when people just are super, like, maybe not super personal. There's a line, but it's like, you
Authentic,
know,
like it's
authentic is a
people
good way.
hate people generally people just aren't as deeply attracted to something that they don't feel like bleeds authenticity.
Yeah,
It's just not as interesting.
and there's a line between what is it?
Being super weird and being relatable.
Yeah. Oh fuck! I had a nice explanation, but I just like brain farted. So maybe it'll come back later. But um, we'll see. We'll go to production. Maybe I can get it back. But
Sure.
Josh, what do you have for production?
Yeah, production my overall thought here like there's again, I'm coming back to that hook like lyrical thing. Like it sounds really good the way it's recorded and everything. Overall I got a little bit of a top heaviness I think from the mix.
Hmm.
Um I don't know, like I think I don't think as much of it is like missing bass, although maybe a little bit more oomph. It's just the balancedness, right? Like I just feel like things are balanced, maybe for you guys, things are balanced a little bit more towards the top end and the high mids than they are the lows. And it's mainly just that some things sound a little bit harsh. That's the main reason. Uh, just getting, I mean, it's just a lot of like sibilance and a lot of like crowding in that area, and then also some of this like the snare stuff.
Hmm.
Um, there's that feeling of like this is a little over compressed. It's almost different from like the whole mix being over compressed, but it's like maybe that certain element got had its own compression and then also mix bus compression, and now it's too much, and it just feels flat and kind of harsh. So I would be really careful with like your overall mix balance. I don't know if you want to tell us like if you're doing the production, the mixing here, if you're using headphones for this, or if you are on like what speakers you're on. Does your room is it small? Does it have bass buildup issues? Is there a ton of carpeting everywhere? Those kind of things, like if there's a ton of absorption happening, like carpet, you will inherently hear less high end than other people in a broader sense will, and you will add too much high end into the mix. Vice versa, or similarly, actually, if you have speakers that have 8-inch, 7 or 8 inch drivers, big speakers that have a lot of bass or low end, or even like KRK, like Rockets or whatever, you're going to be hearing more bass than the sort of average subset of listeners. And so you're going to mix less bass into the final product to make it sound balanced to you on your end. So it's these kind of things that might not be your fault. It might sound perfect in your listening conditions, but you have to you're mixing for other people, not for your listening conditions. So you want to make sure that those are kind of sit in the average arena of all listeners, or also try things out on their listening systems, like in your car, on different types of headphones, on AirPods, like, and testing against reference material. But this is something I hear fairly commonly. I think it's probably because either people have speakers that aren't being completely honest, or because their rooms are absorbing more than they should be. And that's when we get the harshness on the high end and the lack of low end oomph. So
Mm,
that's my tips for production, really. Other than that, I think like the overall balance outside of the sonic fingerprint is pretty good. There's not any glaring issues there, and the way that your vocals, the centerpiece, sound really good. So yeah, it's definitely off to a great start, but maybe just needs a little bit of quality control in the overall mix and master balance.
mhm, mhm.
And I think I would give it like a let's see, probably a 45% between yellow and green on production, because I think I would definitely test it against some reference material on a number of different systems and see if it sounds similar or not.
Sorry, I
Chris,
was
what do
just
you
listening
think?
back again. Yeah, I agree with your points too. I was listening back just to see if I heard what you heard, because quite frankly, Josh has the better ear. Yeah, I agree that it's a little top heavy for sure. I don't hear much of the bass. Um, I think in general the percussion could probably pop out of the mix a little bit too. In terms of again the bass, like the kick, and the snare is a little bit kind of biting through. Although I listened back to it, I kind of like it. So I don't think there's much I can add to that. I'm pretty much in agreement with what Josh says. In terms of my caveman description of it, also, it sounds like the vocals themselves are just a little bit squashed into the mix. Like I would like to just hear them kind of take more space. Maybe it's a little more busy in the frequency area that they occupy. If you could somehow free that up a little bit, because you have a really fantastic voice, very nice breathy voice, atmospheric. The harmonies sound super beautiful. I just want them to have a little bit of more room, maybe frequency rise. So if you could somehow free a little bit or find those frequencies in your vocals, um, that you can like make them sound a little more spacious, and then make some room for that in the mix. Like less is more in terms of mixing stuff like that. Especially with R&B, it's like you need to have that room to kind of really let everything breathe. So
Yeah, and I was gonna say, like, with R&B, man, like it's rhythm and bass, dude. It
yeah,
needs you have the rhythmic element, like the groove is great,
the
but
bass,
it needs that foundation that you feel
that
like
oomph.
you're swimming in the oomph, like you're swimming in the bass, right? It has to be like the environment is like this sort of dimly lit. Like look at your artwork and stuff. Like it's this dimly lit scene that's like super like
Hookah lounge vibe.
yeah, and then you've got these soaring sort of like sparse centerpieces that are like restrained, right? So like that's the not overcrowding that upper mid space, and having like like a centerpiece like your vocals that are can be on the brighter side and can have a lot of that like reverb type stuff, but they need space. It has to be a very spacey kind of
Hmm.
like environment, so to
Hmm.
speak.
Hmm. Yeah. So yeah. All that said, um, I think it's a good start. But that's what we would change. So if we were engineers on your project, that's what we would do. We would try to rebalance everything, put some more bass into that, let you shine, because bro, your voice is fantastic. I gotta say too, I meant to say this in the content thing. There's a point where you say something about silence and then everything drops out, but it's just your harmonies. Oh, that sounds so
It's
cool.
great.
Like there's some good artistry there.
Yep.
But yeah, just we want to let that part of you shine. So also, like, who did the beat? Did you do it? Do you have the stems? Like, what can you do? Can you work with it? But yeah, so I'm about the same, like 50, 60%, I would say, between green and yellow goods. That's a good place to be. But if you want to keep going, we would try to give it some more base for sure. But
Yeah. And
overall, what do you have?
overall, it's it's always like that tough thing when the overall like track feels like it has a lot of potential, but there's some parts that like should be cleaned up for it to have like
Yep.
long widespread potential, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
Um I
Just
would
that bottom
say
line.
I'm just gonna say 80% between develop and good to go.
Me too. Yeah.
Uh yeah, it's just like it's like 80%, it's like a B, right? It's like there's a few things that need to be fixed, but it's overall really strong.
Yep. 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 I agree. I agree with that. Thank you. This is Maine. Super insightful feedback. Yes, that's what we try to do.
Yeah, and
Thank you for yeah
send us
submitting.
more stuff. If you've got other like finished tracks, would love to hear them in the future, or if you have other stuff that you work on as well. So
Or if you mix this again, I don't know if you're
yeah,
mixing it
that too.
and you want us to listen to it again. Like that's cool. We'd love to see the growth. But yeah, so thank you very much. That was Run. That was Maine. Shouts out Maine. Um, we got some returns here. We got Yakucho and we got Jokerhead. What's up, guys? Long time
Hey,
no here.
let's go.
Jokerhead was on a spree with us for a little bit every week, but it looks like he had a break. But it's good to be back. Wait, your link didn't work, bro.
Ah,
Jokerhead. Jokerhead.
shit.
Your link doesn't
This happened
work.
before. Oh, yep.
Oh
Nope.
wait, maybe wait. He gave us other.
Is there another one?
If it's a private one, because it's a work in progress.
Mm,
Jokerhead, let us know. I think you have. If it's a private, you have to do a private share. The link looks pretty vanilla. Okay,
yeah.
but if you can figure that out, we'll play it. But we can, in the meantime, go to Yakucho. Which Yakucho is the, if you remember, Josh, it's Lauer,
Yeah.
who
Yeah.
has a pretty like a big following, an established following. But we have this conspiracy of like, is Yakucho Lauer?
Yeah. Okay. So
And if
this
this
is
is actually Lauer, I'm like, sorry, Lauer, but you could understand our skepticism, right?
I remember we were trying to figure this out.
Yeah. So we don't know.
Because yeah, your artist name says Lauer in the submission, and then your Yakucho here on
Yep.
SoundCloud.
Yep.
Crazy.
You remember me? Yes, I can. This
What?
doesn't give us anything, but all
Yeah.
right, we'll listen to it. From what I remember, Lauer's pretty fantastic. So, all right. So Lauer has submitted to us yet again. Let me see. Is there a description on this?
System error is the song,
Finish release.
and description. I had an track in that style. The people liked it, so I did another one. I
Okay.
did other one. Okay.
All right, Lauer. We'll listen to it. This is Lauer Yakucho System Error. You ready, Josh?
And yeah, and by the way, main we usually do one submission per person per stream. If we have extra time, we could probably do another one.
Yeah. Regardless, if you just submit it to us, like we'll get to it eventually.
Oh, but also donate to us if you're feeling fancy. If you're feeling fancy.
Yeah, if you guys appreciate it, like donates much appreciated. We also do queue skips. So if we have a longer queue and you want to get listened to right away, you could get skipped to the top. If you just donate us any sort of money, the minimum is $1, but we get like taxed by PayPal for that. So if
Yeah,
you
I
can
wouldn't.
$dollars, that'd be
The
cool.
minimum now is 100. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
But
Well,
just
good.
whatever you feel like, if we give you any value, we're like fucking PBS here. But like, if you get anything out of it and you feel like it's helpful, feel free to donate there. Or also, you would skip the queue if you have one that's coming up. So,
Speaking of skipping the queue, we got a queue right here. You ready?
yep,
All right, 3, 2, 1.
that's loud. That's very loud.
The Game Boy.
Restore the connection. This is not an option.
Whoa.
Oh, dude. Josh, you know what time it is?
Time to BC some Arby's. Holy shit. BPM is this? 400. Shit, dude. I don't know.
Entering cyberspace.
Get ready for the drop.
Dude, this song's the longest song hands down. Nice little
Whoa.
orchestral crash at the end.
Jesus.
That was a movie. That was a movie. System Error, Yakucho, as usual.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know why we think of doing this before, but I did look up Lauer on SoundCloud, and it has the similar aesthetic of anime women. So I don't know.
Interesting.
Maybe this is Lauer's backup account. Not sure.
I don't
Yakucho,
know. Might have
some
to
explaining to do.
prove it. Prove it. Like, upload a private track on Lauer's thing
That's true.
and then
That's
send
true.
it to us.
But anyways, anime woman. Yes.
That is what it appears.
Yeah. Unless I'm on the wrong Lauer page. But anyways, that was System Error. And what do you mean anime woman question mark? That's their profile. All right.
Maybe.
Anyways, yeah. You know what, man? There's this a trend that we get.
Yeah.
Seems to be
What's
at
that?
least once every week that we get a high energy song that me and Josh say a phrase. We want to BC some RB. Now, what does that mean?
Oh, God.
What does that
Should they know?
Yes, I'm gonna tell it every time.
They
This
should.
makes me want to go just fucking balls to the wall party, get some cocaine, and butt chug some Red Bulls. That's BCRB. When we say that, we're trying to butt chug it.
That's what the genre is called now.
You mean Lauer Chan? That is my avatar.
BCRB.
Yes, that's what I mean.
Everyone. Yeah.
Everyone.
Is that
But yeah,
everyone's
so
avatar?
everyone's avatar.
I mean, last time I checked, it wasn't, but maybe I don't know.
Oh, true. Anyways,
Anyways.
love the energy.
Oh, she said everyone says something about drugs about my tracks.
Yeah, this sounds like if you go to a rave, you want to get some Molly or some ecstasy, or
Yeah,
maybe you just want to keep it clean and butt chug a Red Bull.
it's because it's really fast. It's like
It's
faster
really
than,
fast.
you know, that like a
I
lot
love
of
it, by the way.
a
Just
lot
so
of music when you
put it out
listen to it, your body like tries to sync your heart rate to the BPM.
there.
That's why I think that people get that idea, because it's like your heart rate most of the time isn't 200 unless you're really going hard.
Jokerhead, you're here. Did you fix the link?
Yeah, Jokerhead. We didn't. Your link to SoundCloud it didn't work. So
I think you
send
have
us a new
to,
one.
if it's a private one, you have to do the private share because the URL that you sent us it doesn't work and it looks really simple, like as if it would be like a regular link, but you need to do the private link.
That was
Anyways,
kind of good. Okay, cool. Man, I don't even know what to say. These like leave me a little bit dumbfounded because I just don't know what to expect. Really, like this isn't something I encounter that often outside of the stream.
yeah, yeah,
um,
yeah. I could say the same.
vibes, BC some RBs. I don't even really want to give it a score. I don't know.
I love it. I for me, so like I run into this music from every now and again, and I would listen to this totally like if I was into video games as much as I used to be. Like
Mm.
if I was practicing Smash Brothers for like a tournament or something, I'd just be playing like 2 or 3 hours straight. I'd love this on my playlist. This would be so sick. Um, so there's a place for it.
Maybe if you're doing a triathlon or something.
Nah, you would die of heart failure. Like
Yeah, for sure.
this is like I'm gonna butt chug some RB. But
Right.
anyways, I love that. I'm putting it as a green for vibe. What do you have?
My God. Uh,
You
for
oh, you already said
score, I mean, I don't really want to even give it a score. It's just it's
yeah.
I'll say
Content.
it's like
Pick
it's
up the
not my
content.
vibe. Content, actually there's this is like this takes skill to put
Oh
together.
yeah,
This is
there's so much
5 minutes and it's super dense, and there's some really cool like sound design stuff going on here, and like
Mhm.
a ton of
The
technical
melodies.
skill. Yeah,
Yeah.
and some cool melodies and parts that really have good grooves that are kind of like catch you.
Hmm.
um yeah, I mean it's sort of like my first impression listening to this kind of stuff usually is like, oh, like that's kind of like a gimmick or a gag, like it being that fast, and it's just like I could never like seriously listen to this because it's just like so over the top.
Hmm.
But then some of those parts where you've got like cool sonic textures that are changing, and like these switch ups between sections that are well orchestrated makes it that much more interesting, to where it starts to be a little bit more like, oh, I could take this seriously a little more.
Hmm.
um so yeah, I mean, content, I think for the most part, my like initial feeling is still doesn't need to be 5 minutes. Maybe if it's being, it depends on the setting. Right, like
Yeah.
you might need the 5 minutes to set everything up to BC the RB.
Yes.
um but
Definitely. It's a
but like,
messy.
yeah, but if you're just finding it on a playlist and you're listening, it might be like a lot for 5 minutes. But then again, I think also it's so out there that I'm sorry to make the drugs comparison again, but like, yeah, you said you don't need drugs. I think it's because this like is some sort of weird mind drug. Like
Yeah.
when you're exposed to this fast of a tempo for 5 whole minutes, and it's just like this crazy and things are changing, makes you feel a little bit high. Like it's a little bit stimulating, to say the
I
least.
was gonna say, man, I keyed it up there, and I was probably because I was moving my head to this stuff
Yeah,
too,
man, you
but
burn some calories like
blood was pumping through my
yeah.
body.
Yeah, it's
So,
crazy. So, I mean, content, like I have respect for it. I don't know if it's my personal preference, but I'll give it like a 80% on content, to be generous. I mean, again, I think it's maybe there's some parts that feel like they're extraneous or they don't add a whole lot, and then there are some that I like a lot better. But yeah, I'll leave it at that. What do you think?
um, I agree with some of the more objective stuff that you're saying. Like, doesn't need to be 5 minutes. Then I thought about it. Typically, with electronic music like this, dance music especially, they're kind of longer just to facilitate DJs being able to switch in and out and stuff. So
Yeah.
perhaps that's why. Um, I love a lot of the stuff that's happening here. I love the hard kicks. You keep it pretty fresh as it keeps going. Like I don't think I
Mhm.
was ever tired, but yet you were able to tie in that kind of um, what is it, centralized theme. Also, just the centralized texture of the song of the Middle Eastern kind of style. So
Yeah.
really skillful, really cool to listen to. I love this music, but yeah, even my heart rate was like boom, 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 boom. So,
There it is.
but yeah, so I'll give it like 95. Green between green and yellow. Um, and for production, what do you have?
Production, like again, I said there's a lot of cool like sound design stuff going on that takes a lot of skill to make, and interesting like textural changes throughout sections that helps a lot to make it feel like varied and just take the listener through a bit of a journey.
Mhm.
um I mean, from the very beginning, it was honestly quite jarring
Mhm.
with
Loud.
the loudness, and it's like perceived loudness, because obviously like you can't, there's not like an infinite loudness ceiling on SoundCloud, right? But the problem is when the compression levels are so high, the compression and the saturation overall creates all this this basically noise, right? It creates a shitload of high end that is extremely piercing at times, right? So when you have the combination of the compression or limiting that makes things really close to that like loudness ceiling, and then it's also creating additional high end content from it being compressed or saturated. um that's hard to listen to. Right, like, and you said the highs are a Japanese thing. I don't know if you're talking about like overall sonic footprint sort of like different genres, which is very much a real thing. But I would
I
be
don't know. It
curious
might.
to listen
Sorry,
to this alongside some things. What were you saying?
it might be the thing they're talking about. They're saying that it's proven that humans can get high off of sound, but it wasn't with music. It was with some weird noises, and maybe it was of Japanese origin. And it says that Lauer is from Japan, and then Yakucho is obviously in Japanese. I don't know. Yakucho could be Lauer.
Could
All
be,
we're asking for, Yakucho,
or
if you could
just a
just if you could use the Lauer account to like just send us a private. It doesn't need to be like a full blown one. It could be private.
yeah.
Then we'll believe you.
So
But
you said Japanese mixing is different to American and European. I mean, I know like
I see.
again stylistically,
Interesting. That's
I
interesting.
know well, it's probably true. Like I know that even between like American and European mixing, there are differences. Some of it is most of it I would say is stylistic, and even with like European, I'd just say different cultures generally have different influences
Mhm.
from different eras of different other cultures in music. Like um different countries even go through phases of absorbing American music from like decades before, and then they sort of embody the sonic profile mixed with the advances in technology, and it creates a unique sound sometimes.
Mhm.
So again, I'll take your word for it about Japanese mixing being different, but at the end of the day,
Josh ain't
psychoacoustics.
Japanese.
No, well, yeah, that's true. But at the end of the day, like psychoacoustics and noise tolerance are those don't those factors are more scientific. They don't really vary. If something is really loud and high in compression and high in like transients, especially transients that contain a lot of high frequency information, it's painful to the human ear, right? Regardless of where you're from. So, uh, that I would say, I think me and Chris probably both turned down a lot when
Mhm.
the initial wall of sound came on, and
Mhm.
it took me a while to be able to comfortably like turn back up at all because it's just like holy shit, like you get sort of a like a shell shock thing where
Yep.
you're like, I don't know if I want to turn it back up because it might be piercing still. That would be my thing. And also I was wondering about this. I was thinking like maybe the reason why this happens sometimes is because if you're making music like this, maybe you're more used to listening to music like it,
Yep.
and listening to music very loudly, and you might have degraded your hearing. And maybe
Uh,
you're just less sensitive to high frequencies than the general population. Maybe,
it's
but that's
probably
just
true.
a possibility in general. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, production, it's a mix of a lot of skillful
No,
stuff.
no.
It's a mix of skillful stuff and bravado, and also just like the psychoacoustic element of like not making people's ears bleed, to be perfectly honest. You can hear up to 21. Okay,
I
that's
can't.
that's cool.
I don't think I can.
That's amazing. Maybe you're special. Maybe
Yeah.
you're different
Well,
than
I
everyone
mean,
else.
it's not even that. Maybe the range is there, but the sensitivity could have went down.
Who
But
knows?
anyways, that's like all like shit. We're
That
just saying like maybe possibilities. It might not even be damage. It's just like you're used to it now. Like the
maybe
human body is very adaptable.
Yeah, and we're just saying this from perspective of like
We're outsiders,
we're here
basically.
like listening to all these different genres and just listening to music on streaming platforms in general,
Mhm.
and then we're both immediately like, holy fuck, that's like loud and piercing as hell. Got to turn it way down. That's not good generally for your listeners if they're anything like us, right? Maybe they're totally different, and everybody that listens to your music is used to really this type of piercingness, and it's fine. But
Mhm.
for us, it was immediately obvious, I would say.
That's true.
So,
So you guys can think about what you want. I don't care if you believe it or not. Just give us a little bit. Yakucho. Just like give us a little bit. Just be like a tweet. Like not a tweet, but like DM or something, like what do you have to lose? That's all I'm saying. Anyways, I agree. Oh, sorry, Josh. Did you give a score
score, I would say 40% between yellow and green.
for production?
Yeah, because it's a mix of like the thing like there's some cool sound design stuff happening, some skillfulness like in the design again of the textures and sonic stuff, but the overall presentation, like I view that as a problem, right? Like if right at the beginning of your song, your listeners are like shocked and are like, holy shit, that hurt. That's not a good sign for your retention numbers generally.
That's fair. For me, I agree pretty much with everything what Josh says. There's a lot of impressive things happening. Um, I do agree that it could be jarring, and especially the very beginning. You start off with this like, right, like even if you're gonna like mix the mix loud, that's fine. But like, ease us into it, please.
I mean, that can be done in songs too. It's not like you have to change the arrangement or anything other than the mixing. That's all it
Yeah.
is. It's not like that's all we're saying.
Right. But yeah, I enjoyed it once I got used to it. That being said, I think it's a lot of skill that's happening. There does, if we were engineering the track, we would try to make it a little more friendly in the beginning and try to make it more palatable. But hopefully not to lose the loudness and the energy because that's what this song shines in. So I would say probably for me 60% between green and yellow. Overall, it's like 70% green and yellow. What do you have?
That was overall score.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I mean, for me, I would say just I'll say 50% between yellow and green because it's partly like factoring in um, the vibes part, which is sort of just like again the marketability thing, and maybe you're saying it's not even meant for our market. That's fine, but we are a stream that's based in the Americas, right? It's
Yeah.
like we're the audience that you're talking to now, right now, right?
Yeah.
So, just from our perspective, I would say there's some questions, and it's partly the production side too, just the overall like what it is. This is just my personal opinion, but
Yeah.
yeah, I'll give it like 50% between develop and good to go.
Yeah. I mean, you submitted it to us, right?
Yeah,
So we're just gonna let you know what we think. That's all. Like no hard feelings.
yeah.
Take it or leave it. But yeah, that was Yakucho, aka Lauer, aka just give us a little bit, please. Just give us a little hint here and there. But Jokerhead looks like I clicked it and it came through. Um, let's see. We'll read your description. Very much a work in progress. Have been away for months. Procrastination and all that. Haha. It is not structured, but just testing the sound and mixing. Both of your opinions are always welcome and appreciated, no matter how much critique. Attaboy.
Let's go.
Just need to know where to take it. All right. Just need to know where to take it. That's what you're asking of us, like where to take this song.
I think he
Or
mentioned at the beginning of the stream, like figuring out how to structure the song and just get our opinions on that stuff.
oh, that also we kind of with Jokerhead. That's a recurring theme, I think.
Mhm.
Where he's improved for sure, but yeah. All right, cool. We would be happy to help you block out of this procrastination. So let us know in the chat, Jokerhead, anything that we can know. But here it is. You ready, Josh?
Yep, let's do it.
Jokerhead, 3, 2, 1. Little farty synth here.
Interesting note choices. Ooh, thick.
This is the what's it called? Synthwave. I love the drums. Not sure if I love the synth. A lot of dissonance.
Ooh, that was loud.
I want more moves here. Feels like it should be a drop.
Great
that'll
drum
work
beat.
there. I like it. I like the top part here. I just want it to be a little less dry, more wet. All right.
Nice.
000 HM sounds test.
Okay, just really quickly, that's another fade that I think is unfinished, where it's just like you just did the easiest thing possible instead of thinking about how to make an epic ending.
Yeah.
I just have to say that because we hear that a lot, and I'm like, I just know that it's because people are making music, and then that's the last thing to do, and then you just leave it because you've heard it a bunch of times already, or it's like it slips behind the radar. But
Yeah.
that's not the main focus here. I mean, this is a great like. I love I think the drum beat is maybe my favorite thing. It just is so thick and is driving, and there's a catchiness component to it too. I think you are thinking about at the very least how to structure a
Yes.
catchy vibe and song and arrangement here. And
Yes.
I think you're doing pretty well at that actually.
I heard that too. Especially with that high synth thing that's happening in the background. Like that wasn't there in the first one. It
Yeah.
gave it a little more movement. I
Yeah.
do think that you did this whole like pew do 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 where Josh was like, "Oh, that's too loud."
It was just
Like,
the thing. It was just that element.
okay, okay. But like
The
the toms came in and I wanted it to hit harder than it did.
I
But
could see that.
you did add, that top line thing to delineate that this is the climax of it, right? So there's stuff there that you're doing with structure that I like,
Yeah.
but there's stuff that you could do to bring out that structure even more, you know? Like maybe the drums don't need to be super boomy in the beginning. Maybe it's like a like little more bare bones stripped down as like an intro. But then when that drop comes in, you just let everybody kind of have it there, bring up the intensity. But um, I think for me, overall vibes, if I'm being completely honest, I don't know if I like the main synth. It's a very dissonant melody, and the synth that you're using is very, very, uh, I guess, rich in high frequencies and very grainy. So when that dissonant happens, it's like, first of all, dissonance is like hard to play with in general because it's generally unpleasant to the human ear. But when you add in like a those other frequency clashes, it makes it even more unpleasant. And so it takes like really good finesse to be able to handle that well.
Yeah. Can I try to put well, once you're done, I'll say something about it.
Yeah, and I guess this might go to content, but
Yeah.
like I appreciate what you're doing with it, but I personally like as it came to me and as I was like tasting it for the first time, I was like, I don't know if I like that. So
Something spoiled in there.
yeah. So that's like my first honest impression with it. But yeah, what do you have to say, Josh? Do you want to go to content next, or do you want
Yeah,
to say vibes?
that falls under content. I mean,
What's up, Dom Rocks?
vibes, I think we talked a little bit about how we felt vaguely, right? Like
Yes,
vibes, I think it's cool. I think maybe it feels like it could use a little bit of polishing up maybe.
yes.
Doesn't feel like totally like finished, like a ready like song that I would hear on streaming and be like this is professional. And I want to add it to my library. So I think that's just again a combination of other factors. I would give it like a 70 like a 60 or 70% between yellow and green on vibes. There's a lot that I like. It's just sort of cleaning things up.
I'm
Um
probably at 50% between green and yellow.
okay. Yeah, I mean I was pleasantly surprised by this. You come in and you're like I need help like structuring the song and like mixing and everything. And a lot of those things were really not bad. Like you're
Yeah,
doing well on a lot of these fronts.
yeah.
But yeah, I'll echo like Chris's comments about the lead synth, and try to maybe put in some technical lingo here. The sonic uh, like element of this, I don't remember how Chris phrased it exactly, but it's sounding a little bit like there's an envelope filter on it, or something where it's very narrowly bandpassed, like bandpassed with a resonant frequency. That's what it is. It's when you get that weird resonance, that can sound a little bit too like it sounds like an insect almost. Like I don't know what the word would be for that, but when you have a high resonant point at a weird mid range spot, it
Ringing or buzzy or
sounds kind of boingy, like bom
yeah,
bom bom bom, like that. Yeah, like it's that sort of that's what we're talking about. it's an envelope that has a resonant frequency. So I don't know. I think we're just saying if it can sound a little bit more like, um,
It's like twangy.
yeah, like less twangy, less volatile, more like straightforward. Like a lot of these good like 80s sounding synths are a pretty simple waveform that doesn't have a whole bunch of filtering and envelopes and resonance and all that stuff. It's usually a little bit more like there's a sawtooth oscillator that's got some reverb on it, you know, or something like that, or a combination of wave shapes, something a little bit simpler than an envelope. So that's the sonic side. Then for the melodic side, I think it's the last two arpeggios, the last two chords in your sequence do not sound quite right. There's a couple of notes in there, like you're outlining a real chord, but it's not in the key that your song is. So
Really?
yeah, those last two is like it was something like you're doing a minor or you're doing a major arpeggio and it's supposed to be a minor chord
Mm,
relative to the key that you're in. And like both of the last two chords in the sequence were like technically kind of incorrect. Um, and it might also just be that it wasn't completely aligning with like the bass movement, but it's overall like you take a snapshot of that chord when you're doing that arpeggio and look at what all the instruments are playing note wise. There's some dissonance that is negative. It doesn't quite sound right. It sounds like something's a little bit wrong, a little bit rotten there.
mm, mm.
So I would go in and like try changing uh, the notes that sound a little bit weird, move them up or down a half step, and if you have to, try moving them up or down a whole step, and see if it sounds a little bit like it fits a little bit better. Alternatively, if you want to keep them the same, you could also just try changing the bass note, and you might get something more interesting even. Um, but again, maybe it doesn't work like that. So you need to just try shifting things around a little bit to where they sound like they're more in the same key, or it sounds like it makes more sense.
Mm.
Um, and there's a it's fine to want to sound unique and not have a cookie cutter chord progression,
Yep.
but it doesn't always work if you're getting a note wrong in the key. It just doesn't always work.
Yes.
It's different than using like the 5 of the 4. That's a different concept,
Mhm.
and that's what you might be trying to do, where you're using a chord from an adjacent key relative to the key that you're in. But that's not just random. So yeah,
Mm.
that's what we're getting at, I think there.
Yeah.
Content. Other than that, I'm trying to think like arrangement wise. Talk about the end tail. I wish that could be cleaned up a little bit. It could just end abruptly, honestly, or have more of an interesting reverb or modulation tail there, or delay or something. Um, Other than that, it's a good groove. It's fairly short. I don't really feel like it needs to be longer in this case. I feel like you get the idea across, and it's kind of a singular idea, but it's a good one at the core. And yeah, I don't know. If you have specific questions about arrangement or song structure, like let us know. But I'm kind of happy with the general layout of this. I think it's fun. Um, yeah, I think for content, I would give it uh, a 50% between yellow and green, because that main thing is what we're talking about. It's the main subject of the song is that synth line, and the sound's a little bit weird and the notes are a little bit weird. So I
Mhm.
would I would really look into that. What do you think, Chris?
Mm. Fuck! I just took the fattest bite of peanut butter, so I
Yeah, and it's
can't
giving
talk.
me anxiety on stream.
Sorry,
No,
Josh
you're
is
good.
allergic to peanuts, so um um I agree with everything Josh said. Thank you for putting the twanginess into words there and how to fix it. I already talked about it. Um, if I were you working on the song, I would try to find a different melody and like the chords, like what Josh was saying. Just because right now it's like something it's not unlistenable, but it's like, oh, I can tell that this is something I don't like, and it's repeated a lot, right? So
And you would think, like, I will say, in some cases, repetition can create validation, right? And in a lot of cases, it does. Like in jazz, people do this all the time. They
yes.
they they come up with a stupid idea that sounds weird, and they repeat it, and it adds legitimacy.
Hmm.
But I don't think it's quite enough to this case.
Hmm.
When the delta is enough that it's obviously wrong at the beginning, and then you repeat it, and like not in like an improvisational setting, but
Hmm.
in like this is a song that you've spent a lot of time on.
Mhm.
then it doesn't quite always work out like that. It's like this person probably doesn't know what they're
Right.
doing.
I wanted to say because I think Josh can think this too. We'll think this too. But there comes a point where there's like literally no wrong note that you can play, quote unquote wrong note. I feel like when it comes to making music, you learn the basics of like how to make just a simple chord structure or a very repeated chord structure, and then once you have the skills to do that, then you start building off those skills and then doing these crazy like key changes or out of key notes, and then you can still make them sound pleasing to the human ear.
Hmm.
You know, and like Josh mentioned, like jazz people, they're like masters of that. Like
Yeah,
they know all this shit. They've been playing around with that like same chord structure forever, but now they have the freedom and the skill set to be able to just play around like that.
yeah,
And maybe you're at that level too, but and we appreciate you know the challenge that comes with that, but sometimes it's not met.
yeah.
So
And
here, like we'd say it's not met.
I don't want it to see this is a little bit like high level, but I don't want it to seem like if your song is in a specific key, you can only use those like 7 notes because that's not the case, right?
Yeah.
Again, there's the rules are not that simple of music theory or even just more broadly like how you arrange notes in a song.
Mhm.
And again, you can get really deep doing analysis about like there's 7 keys, 7 chords in a key, but then there's all these other extensions that you can do. You can add notes into chords to spice them up, right? That aren't
Mhm.
technically in the key.
You can move the
Um,
voicings around.
yeah, you can move voicings around. And that's another thing. Like even if the notes are technically wrong or it's some weird like it's the 2 chord, it's the 2 of the 7, which is like the whatever the 7 chord is. You then go into that key and then you take the 2 of that key. So if it's like G minor, like the key that you're in. Let me think about this. The 7 chord of well, that would be like a diminished thing. So then it's like a
Yeah.
whole nother topic, but I don't want to go through that right now. But the point is the voicings matter too. So even if your notes are weird, like in jazz,
Mr.
if
McChino.
there are ways to play those chords that sound pleasing, even though when you analyze it, the notes are really weird, and you wouldn't notice that the notes are weird at first because the voicing is pleasing. But you can also do it wrong. So it's not just the notes; it's the way that you put things together and that they're perceived. But ultimately, with this kind of thing, it's not jazz, right? I would go through and make sure that the choices are logical and that the dissonance is not like a dominant or major 7th chord type dissonance.
I
Or
love it.
it could be like that, right? That would be acceptable. But if it's like there's a tritone in a chord that like shouldn't be there, or like you're supposed to be doing a minor, like you're implying a minor chord, but you're playing a major, and there's just that like what the fuck dissonance that you don't want. So
Yep.
it's just experimentation and then getting feedback
Yep. Yep. Yep.
or developing the technical knowledge of how music theory works.
Yep. That's the thing, Jokerhead. And I like your spirit. Music theory. Got to get back to that. I'll be back with some updated versions and stuff. Beautiful.
You know
That's
what?
what we want.
I'll,
Get you out of this little procrastination period.
I'll also say on the top because I don't like when people are like you have to know music theory to make music because that's not true, right? The Beatles didn't fucking know any of that. Dave Grohl didn't know any of that. Most of the artists that you like don't know music theory.
Hmm.
Um, but you have to have either music theory or intuition. Intuition's far more important than theory. And even if you know theory and you have no intuition, you'll still suck. So regardless, you need good musical intuition. And but that's not an excuse for not having any knowledge, and it's not an excuse for being able to do whatever the hell you want. And I'm
Hmm.
not saying that that's the case with you, Jokerhead, but I'm just saying in general for people, it's like, well, like my favorite artist didn't know music theory, so I don't need to know anything. Well, if you don't have really damn good musical intuition, you need something, right? You need something to beef that up, either just by practice, by analyzing stuff and figuring out chords of songs you like,
Hmm.
or by learning a little bit about it. So yeah, it's a little bit there. And yeah, the Beatles absolutely did not know music theory. They didn't know, especially at the beginning, what most of the chords that they were using were.
Hmm.
The way I think about it is like you as a music listener know what appeals to you and what sounds good, and so there's absolutely no reason other than being able to execute notes on an instrument why you wouldn't be able to create an output that sounds pleasing to you without having any technical knowledge, right?
Yep.
Music theory is not necessary. It's a luxury.
Yep.
So yeah, that's where we're at.
Maybe he's the sixth Beatle. I just wanted to address a couple things. So, Mr. McChino, Mr. Chickino, welcome to the stream. May you ask for feedback? Yes, we will always take your submissions. We have a submission form. I'll go ahead and put that in the chat. But the thing is, we do have a hard stop. The hard stop at 7:30. Did that work? Okay, yeah. Hard stop at 7:30, and we already have someone else ahead of you. So Dom Rocks, which we're gonna hit next, and we'll probably speed up this part of the review because this review's been taking a little while, so we can get to him. But that being said, any song that is submitted to us, we will do it. Um, so we might not do it this week, but we'll get to it the next time we're on stream, which is probably going to be next week. So please feel free to, if it's not urgent, you can submit it to our forum, and we'll listen to it eventually. If it is urgent, and this goes for Dom too, we do have a tipping system now. If you want to skip the queue, if you really need to get your song in, if you have like a deadline to meet or whatever, we understand. If you want to skip the queue, you could just give us a tip. There's a link for that. Any amount will do. You know, the minimum is $1. We get taxed out the asshole for that on PayPal. So we
So
ask for like $2. If you give us $1, we'll do it anyways. But yeah, like we appreciate it. But if not, if you're cool with waiting, then feel free to submit and we'll get to you. So
and we should. This happened to Dom last time where he was gonna not be in the stream, I think, and then he donated and like honorarily. It looks like Mr. What is that? Chiquino, Mr.
Mr.
Chiquino,
McChino.
Mr.
Yeah.
Mick Chiquino, got it. Is cool with being around next week, so that works out anyways. But
Cool. We appreciate you. Appreciate you. So yeah, we'll go ahead and kind of finish this review. What's up, Kibby, TBU, and Sweet Escape? Sweet Escape. There's a different link to do submissions. I just put it in there. But yeah, so we'll have time for this last one. Let's go ahead and finish the Jokerhead stuff though. So
yep,
um, content. Yeah, I agree. The main thing for me was the synth, and that's pretty substantial. So I'll put it like 30% between green and yellow. For production, let's give like a short summary. What do you have,
yeah.
John?
I mean, I thought most like your drums sound really good. I think there's a little bit of a graininess that I feel like could be like I don't know if I like, and maybe it's just that it like Chris was mentioning at one point, like reverb or whatever. I don't want things to be overly crowded because it's easy to go wrong with reverb, and I think where you're at sonically already, it could overcrowd with too much. But maybe just on the lead instrument, like having a pre-delayed stereo reverb that doesn't get in the way could be nice to add atmosphere, and
Hmm.
maybe would help with some of that graininess that I'm hearing on like the drums or anything really.
Yeah,
Uh,
everything just seems dry to me.
Maybe a little bit dry. I mean, sometimes that's okay and nice, and sometimes it helps things punch through. I would
Yeah.
say, like, don't fuck like, your things that contain the oomph, like the kick and the snare,
Hmm.
mostly the kick, you should shy away from using direct reverb on because it will make them less punchy.
Hmm.
But the high elements that contain high content generally work much better than anything else for reverbs. Things that contain a lot of mids and low mids will absolutely clutter your low mids and mids in your mix. So be careful about putting reverb on them, and if you do, make sure that it's like a low passed or a high passed reverb. That there's some sort of control there, because otherwise, yeah, that could be a mess. So
Yes.
maybe that's a solution. Maybe it's just like messing with your settings of how things are being saturated or whatever. But I think we just want a little bit more sheen on the mix overall, a little
Yes.
bit more of that. So
Yeah, I was thinking, man, like with all these kind of synthwave songs, I always imagine like a night city with neon lights and stuff like that, and you have the glow, the kind of sheen um, that comes
yeah,
from that kind of
the neon
the
thing.
neon. Exactly. That's what I want to hear. And right now, it's just like there's no glow. It's just a straight up light. So yeah, if you could add the glow to around it, give it a nice little atmosphere to it. I think that's what I'm missing. So for me, I'm probably at like the drums I really like too, very punchy. Production, I'm like what 50% between green and yellow.
Yeah, I think I could say the same about it. It is really a good start in production. It's sounding pretty good, but it's just like cleaning it up, making it presentable and polished.
Yeah, and overall, I really want you to make some changes to that melody, Joker. Make it a little more, um, pleasant.
The idea is nice though. It's just
Yeah,
a couple of the note choices are a
it's
little don't
appreciated.
quite align. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll put a 40% between green and yellow overall. What do you have?
Yeah, I could say the same.
Cool. Thank
Yeah,
you, Jughead.
again,
Glad
it definitely feels like improvement is continuing. So glad to hear it.
Mr. Mick Chiquino, we have your submission called Yoinky. Nice name. We'll get to that next week, but this time it'll be Tokyo by Dom Rocks. I remember this face. Did he get a purple from us?
I think it wasn't released yet or something.
Oh,
We really
Dom.
liked it, but yeah, I thought that's what the case was. Maybe can't
Let us
remember.
know, Dom, what's happening. From what I remember, we really liked your song
Yeah,
last time.
we liked your shit a lot. I definitely remember that.
Yeah, so great analysis. What I was looking for. When I get into finishing this, I'll be back for your words here. Good luck with the channel, guys. Thank you so much. You gave me a purple. Yeah,
That's,
we did.
oh yeah, we did. Cool.
Let us know if we put you on the playlist or not. Like, we're not the biggest playlist, but if we give you a purple, we want to honor our word.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So this is Dom Rocks Tokyo. Is it a finish? It's a finished release. There's no description. Is there anything in the SoundCloud?
Cool
No.
artwork.
It's private. What are you waiting for? If it's finished, what's up?
He wants to hear our feedback.
Maybe. All right. So that's it. This will be Tokyo by Dom Rocks. Let us know what the release strategy is if you're here. But yeah, you ready, Josh?
Yep. Let's do it.
All right. Tokyo. 3, 2, 1.
Stereo stuff.
Oh, this is the guitar stuff, right? If I remember, he did guitar stuff, but it wasn't a real guitar.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna just listen.
Hold on. The screen share just cut out.
Uh-oh.
I just saw it cut out.
Damn. All right, guys.
Let me add it back in.
All right, couldn't have a Fast Track Friday without some technical difficulties.
Yeah, it happened in between songs earlier, but I fixed it. But I just did it again.
Damn. All right, you're on it. I am not on it.
One day we will have a fully robust internet.
Yeah. Until
One
then.
day. It'll only take 40 years. Okay. It's
You
back.
ready?
It's back in and it's updated. Yep. Let's do it.
All right, ready. 3, 2, 1.
Starting from the beginning.
Yeah. You ready?
Yeah.
3, 2, 1. I was playing a real guitar in the last one, lol. The strings are fake. That's what it was.
Yeah. Yeah. Real fake guitar is hard.
Right.
Very different than the other track we heard.
Ooh, bass.
Ooh. 5-string bass?
Nice boom. With that kick, too.
I feel like I'm at a venue listening to this.
Nice. Oof. It's like a psychedelic guitar. Love the bass.
It's kind of hypnotic.
Yep, that same note. There's Dom.
His harmonies.
lot of bongos that are happening.
It's like something reversed almost.
Right. This reminds me of Halo music, dude. I know I say that a lot, but this really does.
I feel like I want that lead to like give me more or something. Like
Yeah.
feels a little bit DI'd, like a
There we go. Yeah, there we go.
so that's a guitar then, I guess.
We want that to go wild.
Couldn't tell what it was. That was the synth.
Oh, it's a synth.
Is it? I can't tell.
I agree with you though that I want it to shred more.
It's a guitar, yeah.
Don't go too slow, Romeo. See you online from Tokyo. My heart will go the distance. You're the oil in my pistons.
I love those. That bass line too.
Hmm.
There it is. Dom
Very
Rock.
interesting.
Very interesting indeed.
Hmm.
That was Dom Rocks, ladies and gentlemen. Previous purple track owner. Let us know if you've released the other thing or if it's going on this album.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, let us know.
but Josh, what do you have? First impressions, vibes.
Um Dom, I think you are how do I say this? Stylistically cool as fuck. Like
Hmm.
I think I have a lot of respect for you seem to explore a lot of different sonic territory sort of fearlessly, and that is super rare, man. Like you don't really see that many people of the overall pool of music makers these days that are cool with like going into these weird sort of like unorthodox sonic territories and creating something unique,
Hmm.
right? And like I can tell that you are creating music for the sake of making something, taking it yourself on a journey as well as the listeners, right? And that's like utmost respect for that. I also think that like most of from what we've heard so far, which is only a few things, um, I think a lot of the execution is quite good.
Yep.
Um, there are a few things I have some questions about still
Yep.
as a listener, but like overall, just like the feeling that I get from listening to this stuff is this is authentic art creation by someone who's doing it because they really enjoy it and they're not afraid to explore territory and they don't really care what people think. Maybe
Mm.
that's awesome.
Yep.
Vibes. If we had a purple, it'd be a purple vibes, right? But it's like
Mm.
all the way on that for sure.
Mm.
There are like again some things that I want to explore a little bit
Me too.
um, in other areas, but I think for vibes, that's what I was saying. What about you, Chris?
Yeah, I agree with everything. I've made the comparison before. This sounds like Halo music. Like, I love the Halo soundtrack, bro. The Halo video games, specifically. So they use a lot of tribal drums. It sounds like that's what you're using, some sort of bongo or something.
Is that a
But
plug-in, Dom?
it sounds like it might be reversed or some shit as well. So that's very cool. It gives a very awesome texture and like ambiance to your
It
track.
sounds like I'm trying to envision what the hell it is. Yeah, it's a sample. It sounds
Yeah.
like there's like I'm envisioning a bunch of like dried, like hollowed dried gourds on a string that
Yes.
someone's rubbing like a wood stick across or something like that.
Yep. Yeah.
It's a cool
Very.
sound.
Yeah. It sounds very like I don't want to say folky, just tribal, but
Mm-hmm.
it's cool.
Natural.
Um, the bass line that's happening that you hit with the kick, it's like doom 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 boom boom
Yeah,
boom.
those things, those a vibe. They go together well.
So cool, man. And like I just there's a lot of Halo songs that are like that where it's bass driven like that. That's cool. Um, there's a couple notes that I might have to in terms of the I think I don't know what to call it, a verse or chorus, but not the ooze part. But
Hmm.
there's some things in the production side that I think if you have room to tweak it at this point, I like if I was an engineer, I could give you some tips there, or not tips, just perspective that could maybe uh, for me make it a little more pleasurable to listen to. But yeah, in terms of vibes, and it seems like Josh hit it on the money. Uh, you're very exploratory and very confident in it, and it shows. It's really cool. So green for me, vibes was really solid, and I really enjoyed the listen. So thank you very much. Content, what do you have, Josh?
Yeah, content. I think the story here, the main like keyword is ambiguity. I think,
Mhm.
and it's like that's actually refreshing in a way, like the way that you're using it with that the sound, like those that sample or whatever with the percussive thing, has this sort of ambiguity where it like almost builds suspense because you're like, man, like where is this
What
gonna
the fuck
go?
is that? Yeah.
Like what am I listening to? How is he gonna build a song around this? Now I think maybe to the detriment on the other side, I was waiting for to hear where the song was going like harmonically sort of.
Mhm.
Like the beginning is just mostly percussive and then you get a bass and then you sort of get the lead, but I was like waiting for like to hear where it was going harmonically, like a
Yeah.
chordal element to it, and I was left sort of feeling like I'm floating, just like there's a bass that's um not super harmonic because it's more one of those bass tones that's about the chest feeling and the oomph and like the feeling more than it is the notes.
Yep.
And I think that worked really well from a production perspective with the kick and everything, and it created a vibe. But I'm just left wondering like where are we sort of harmonically, because that can really tie the flow of a song together in a way that helps make sense to the listener.
Hmm.
So I was waiting for that, and then the lead came in, and I also was a little bit disappointed by um, maybe the tone. Like I just it's weird. Like there's a cool thing about having a guitar and making it sound like a synth, but I was like waiting for more expressiveness from it, sort of.
Yeah.
And I think you could absolutely do that when you have a cool tone like that. You could do more like sick bends and like vibrato stuff and like just like more like fast playing or arpeggios or anything. I was just left wanting more by that, um, in a way that I don't feel like was resolved enough. So it's those two things. It's the harmonic element and the lead element. The percussion, including the bass, all feel so solid,
The rhythm
but
section.
yeah, but the other two, the harmonic part, the chordal part, and the lead part don't feel completely fleshed out to me at this point. So and also maybe the lead tone too, like it felt a little bit like lacking, a little bit dry, maybe we could say. Um, like it needed more like more shimmer, needed to soar more. So yeah, that's
Wait, you're saying that lead there, the guitar?
yeah, yeah, like
Okay.
I was just left wanting a little bit more from that. Maybe it's just partly volume. Maybe it's like again the effect side of making it feel more ethereal, or like giving it more of a spotlight, I think is what effects are often good at doing.
Hmm.
But like we're talking about ambience effects like delays, reverbs, shimmer, like that kind of thing. Maybe modulation even. So yeah, I think it's like I'm so I'm left wanting more by the overall structure. It feels like there's this mystery, this ambiguity that you're like, where's this going to go? And then I feel somewhat unresolved because I'm not getting chords enough out of it. Like, where are we? Sort of it helps to ground you and center you in the progression and the movement. And then also the lead. Damn, that was loud.
How about
The lead, I'm like just wanting a little bit more out of it. So yeah, that's where we're at with that. I get that it's a jam. Oh, and also the harmonies. This might be more production, but like I love the idea was so cool. I'm like, oh yeah, like that's a little nugget that adds some value here. But the recording sounded just slightly amateurish to me, I have to say.
which one?
Uh,
Vocals?
the harmonies, yeah.
Oh, the
It might have,
vocals?
yep.
Okay.
It might have been that they weren't totally in tune, or they weren't totally in sync, or just the microphone like placement arrangement sounded a little bit didn't sound super high fidelity or something. So it's a mix of like some parts sound so like experienced and professional and like interesting and unique, and others I'm like, ah shit, like I can hear through the recording, right, where it's like man, I can tell that like this sounds like it's in like an SM57 that's like two people are like, or you're standing too far away from, or something weird where it's like maybe there wasn't quite enough professional like thought and effort that went into a specific element, right? Like the tone of the lead, and or the way that it's processed on the mixing side, or the way that the harmonies are recorded. So those are the elements that I'm left wanting more from, and I feel like you have it in you, but I'm just sort of like where does this go from here? So content,
Oh,
yeah,
we got one. Oh, it's Shima. Okay.
content. I think I would give it like I'll say like 50% between yellow and green, because it's like some of the stuff is really cool, but some of it I just definitely feel like needs a little bit of TLC.
Yep. I just want to say, who is it? So Shima, I think we got yours. What's up? Thank you for stopping by. This is probably going to be our last song though, so we will get to you next week for sure. Kibby, you sent your song where? Because I don't see it. Just to let you know. Okay. For me, content. Then and the fact that you said it feels like a jam. It exactly feels like a jam. So I think in terms of trying to convey that message, it worked. But the problem is for me, I felt like the guitarist on this jam, if we gave him the improv solo, I wanted him to shred a little bit more to give a nice contrast because everything else is really chilled out. You got this kind of, um, I feel like I'm playing Halo, so it's like big tribal space vibe. Everything has a lot of space. Everything's kind of serene, calm, and I want this guitar to really kind of
Yeah,
go from a psychedelic intro to what it feels like to a climax where, and you started doing it at the end where it's like it has those faster notes, and I was like, there we go. That's what I've been wanting. Get my attention a little bit more, you know.
hmm
Um, so that's just to say, in addition of what Josh has said, I don't want to be too redundant. There is something with vocals, so I don't know if I heard necessarily the amateurish or the recording, but I would say, and this kind of goes into production too. The the verse, the vocals that were not the ooze, the ooze I thought sounded really nice. For the verse, I think there was delay that was kind of bleeding into the next thing that you were saying a little too heavily, and it created this dissonance that wasn't very pleasurable. So if I were you, I would, if you can, like duck that first delay, such that or maybe slow down the delay, I guess. Play with that delay such that it doesn't bleed into that next note in a way that it sounds unpleasing. So that's kind of a production tip. So content, I'll give it like a 65% between green and yellow.
yeah. I have another thought about this. Is between content and production both, but like it can sometimes be really good to have a sample that's like, fairly present in volume and is structural to the song, that sounds really good because it's a good sample. And that can help elevate the overall perceived quality of your song and your mix, right?
I have it now, Kibby. Sorry.
But I feel like the delta might be a little bit too large in this case between the recording quality of that sample, which
Hmm.
is really cool, and some of the live parts. Like again, I think the bass sounds pretty good.
Bass sounds great.
It's partly
Kick
that, but
sounds
it's
good
also
too.
timing. I also think that throughout maybe multiple of the instruments, I don't necessarily always feel like the timing is super spot on.
Hmm.
And when I'm getting this sonic quality difference between that sample and the recorded parts, as well as a timing difference, because the sample is fucking in time, right? But
Hmm.
some of the other parts are like just a little bit pushing it. Um, then I'm like, oh, now I can see there's a high quality sample mixed with recordings that are trying to piggyback off of its quality, but it's not quite at that level. It needs to be a little bit closer matched. And then once you get past the threshold, the quality of the sample can actually bring up the perceived quality of the recorded parts. But I
Hmm.
feel like it's not quite there. It needs to just come up just a little bit. And it's like, man, try muting that sample and then see how it sounds. That's the real test. Does
Hmm.
everything stand on its own without that? Does the timing sound okay without that sample grounding it?
Hmm.
Um, and then vice versa, if you get that stuff right, sounding good together, good sounding in time, in tune, the groove is good, the mixing is good, and then you add that sample, you're golden, right? It's going to sound really professional. It's going to bring it up. So yeah, most of what I talked about, I think, is related to production as well. So I don't really have much more to say there. Um, Yeah. So and we're kind of we're 8 minutes past 7:30. It's
Sheesh!
our time, but yeah. I mean, production. I would also give it. I'd give it like a 60 or 65 between yellow and green. I just think that there's still some polishing to do and some quality control on the effect processing and the volumes and like the harmonic element of it. Like where are the chords? What instrument is going to fill that space and help guide us through the song?
Mhm.
So yeah, that's where I'm at. What about you, Chris?
Um, I don't know if I could add much past that. I agree with a lot of that. I don't know in terms of the amateur sound of the recordings of what I hear. I do think maybe, especially if this is supposed to be a jam, the best thing about a jam is like when everybody's locked in with each other,
Yeah, yeah,
and perhaps that wasn't there all the way. So if you could somehow get a more locked in recording, maybe it's the guitar. For me, mostly it was the guitar. I don't know if you could say the same, Josh, because
Mhm.
I thought the drums and the bass sounded really good. The sample sounds really good, and the performance of the guitar. What I would do is just like if you're the one that plays guitar, just take another take. Like just take another jam take on it. See if you can, you know, get a little bit more of a solid locked in. And for me personally, what I would like to see is a little more energetic. Like take me to a journey on this guitar solo that we've given this
yeah. Like you're the
soloist.
spotlight, man. Like you're the
Yeah.
one talking right now, basically. Like
Hmm.
say something. That's what it is. It's like don't
Say
just like
something.
be on your instrument and like maybe make some notes. It's like holy shit, this is your chance. Everyone's listening to you. Play something, right? Tell a story.
Shout out all the new chatters. Okay. Oh, you already did it. My bad.
No, you're good.
So production for that being said, it's all content. So production for me was the delays on the echoes on the verse. I think that's the biggest part for me. All that being said, I'm at 60% as well. I think between green and yellow. Overall, love the artistry. Um, love the exploration. It's very unique. I love
Yeah.
it. There's just a couple things that I would do differently as an engineer, and then also if I don't know if you're the one that playing guitar. I thought maybe I think you have a band mate as well. I don't know if they're the one that plays guitar. If I were you, I'd be like, hey, can you do like another take and let's try to get
I'm
a little
guessing
more.
Dom is maybe I'm wrong. I feel like
Yeah.
Dom is the guitar and then the other guy is drums. I don't know. Oh, you made it
Maybe
by
it's by
yourself.
myself. All right,
Shit.
crazy.
Cool, man.
Yeah, but yeah,
Love it.
just try to if I were you, I'd love to hear another take. But yeah, overall, I'm at like 60%. I think that sounds pretty good to me.
Dude,
Between green and
also
yellow.
by the way, that's just crazy. Like this totally sounds to me like it's I don't know why. It sounds like it's a dynamic between two people, but it's like it's just you. It's so
Yeah,
interesting how that works. But yeah, man, you're jamming with yourself. I mean, you're doing it well.
yeah.
But it's just a couple of things about like not getting complacent with the quality of your performances and your recordings and really analyzing them and saying, do these things all work together smoothly? Or are there friction points that I could easily remove by just re-recording? If it's just you, especially, it's like shit. Well, I'm the one to do both, so I might as well. There's nothing stopping you from doing that.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think overall, I'd give it a 70 or 75 between yellow and green because I
Hmm.
like the idea and the territory that you're going into. It's more about the execution and just getting that really solid.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I think I agree with that. I was gonna say one more comment on the guitar thing, but I think it's pretty clear. It's just like there was this other part I remember. It was like the same note over and over again, and I was just it kind of encapsulated the rest of what I felt like with the other stuff, other guitar playing is just like I need some more like with it. Like you could keep that same note and then maybe add just like little not accidentals, but like little like offshoot rhythms, and then go back to the same note if you wanted to have that effect.
I
Like.
mean, I
But
dude,
anyways,
I will say I was actually just listening. I forget what his name was. I was just listening to this guitar solo of a guy who literally for like a whole 12 like a whole segment of a 12 bar blues or whatever, like a cycle. The
yeah.
solo was one note, and it was
Ah,
awesome. It was like there's I wouldn't say maybe it's just like coming from I don't know maybe you don't have I don't know how much you've listened to like blues and like solos, like guitar solos over blues or jam solos, that kind of thing.
sure.
But I recognize that as a pretty common thing of like having a part where you're just sitting on one note and having fun with it, and
For
that's
sure.
usually pretty acceptable. And I actually didn't feel like that was too much, but I think it's more about the overall context of
Yeah.
that solo. And is there enough around it that it justifies doing that, right? Or is that like too much percentage of the solo is just you doing that, right? You know what I mean?
I see what you mean.
It's about
Yeah.
the overall, like the story arc, the pattern, like the progression that solo takes,
Mhm.
and maybe there's not enough meat on the bone elsewhere to support doing that there.
Right.
Um,
Yeah. Perhaps it's like a contrast of like a. Oh, our Twitch might have just dropped out. No, never mind. Of like if there was like a crazy solo that like, or not a crazy solo, but more energetic that was kind of moving around everywhere, and then like as a respite, it goes to that one note. Maybe I
yeah,
would be a little bit more accepting. But
exactly. Yeah,
yeah. All right, but it's what it is. Dom rocks. Thank you very much. I'm trying to direct focus to the bass line in that part. I see, and I do like the bass line.
sure.
Uh,
But again, if you, generally when you if you have a lead instrument like that, that's playing like, and if it's playing at a volume and in a way that feels like a sort of lead part rather than just like a backing part, you can't, like, your listeners mostly are going to listen to that, right? Whether you're intending for it to be focused on the bass line, well, that's not where you're putting the spotlight. It's like painting a picture. Like if you make one part really bright, that's what people are going to look at.
mhm,
Literally, it's the same. It's like a bright tone thing. But
mhm.
yeah, I would say just like to again be conscious of the listener journey and experience. So
Yep.
yep, great
And
hearing it.
that's what we just gave it to you. Thank you very much.
Hmm.
Appreciate it, everybody. That was our last song review. Shouts out to all the new chatters though. Drewy, I don't know if you got our links to work, but I don't see you in the queue. Um, so I just want to say to the other people that did submit that we didn't get to this week, we will get to you next week. You guys are first on the queue. Right now, it is Mr. McChickino. It is Osaka slash Shima. Is that another Japanese person? I don't know.
Could
Kibby
be.
TBU, and then we got Drew Landers. All right, Drew, you just popped in, so you guys will be first for next week. That's 4 reviews, so we definitely will get to all of you. If you guys want to like skip the queue, the next time we stream, we do have a tip service. So like, say if you tune in right at when we come in 5:30 Central, and you're like, I just want to listen first, then you could tip us to skip the line. But
Or
if
anybody
not,
who got feedback today could also tip us if you are satisfied with
yeah,
your
yeah,
free feedback.
for sure, for sure. Either way, but yeah,
Oh,
thank you guys very much. We appreciate it.
and also,
But
Dom, let us know if your song that you got purple on is on streaming services publicly now, so we can add
yeah,
it to our top tier track playlist.
yeah, we want to show it off. But
Mhm.
yeah, appreciate you guys very much. It's good to be back. We took a break last week. The week before was a little slow on the chats, but you guys came through, man.
Came
A lot
through
of
today.
first time chatters. We really appreciate you. So
Yep. It's good to have everyone. To keep
old friends.
updated. Yeah, to stay updated over there in the corner. Follow us on Instagram. There you can find it's kind of our home base. You can, message us on there, whatever.
Yeah.
And we've got a Discord too. You can join that. If you go to our Instagram, there's a link tree link. You can find everything there, including the Discord. Pop in there. It can be a fun time. Hopefully, probably.
Yep.
And follow us on Twitch so you know when we're streaming. Come back next week. Tell your friends if they make music to submit and get feedback from us. And yeah, we've got lots coming up. So excited to have you guys along for the ride. And thank you for joining us today.
Blessed. Thank you very much.
Sweet. All right, everyone. Have a good Memorial Day weekend. Hopefully, people are off of their work commitments, work or school or whatever on
Yep.
Monday. So enjoy it, and we will see you again next week.
Yeet yeet. Peace.
Peace.
Trim my